Hello, first years. This is the fourth of 6 tasks for the final major projects. Then, in this video, we're going to be looking at production. So, as with the others, please do not watch this video until you have seen the videos for research, pitch and proposal, and pre-production in that order. Proceed in a linear fashion through the FMP brief, please. So, production, which as you can see hits the 3.1 criteria. So we are going to be looking at the actual making of your FMP. You've done your research at this point. You've done your pitch and proposal, which has been agreed by myself before moving forward into your planning or pre-production, where you made a journal and also had a production file for your documentation. And here's where we are now. Task 4, production. So, in Task 4, production, you're going to continue to develop and add to your journal. This is where the journal evidence becomes really important. Now, what we found marking last year's final major projects is that the journal actually helps people get a merit or help people get a distinction. Because they use the journal to evidence their work, show the story of their project, and to show what they were doing, the problems they were encountering, how they were overcoming said problems as well. The behind the scenes pictures and video of them working, talking about what their plans are, sets they're putting up, what difficulties they encountered in terms of resources or facilities, or working with actors, or balancing their personal life and their FMP, just telling us about the production. The behind the scenes vlogs and podcasts and diary updates were crucial towards getting the merits and distinctions for those people who were working towards those grades when it came to the final submission. Changes to elements of your production need to be shown on your site or blog as well. Put all this in the journal. Just stick it all in the journal part of your site or blog. What changes have occurred? As I've said to you numerous times, things are going to go wrong. Things are going to take different tangents. Things are going to evolve in different directions you perhaps didn't foresee when you initially wrote the proposal at the beginning of this process. Normal. How are you going to adapt and show that you are agile and creative enough to move forward with your concept to meet the deadline? You don't hand in work because it's ready, you hand in work because it's the deadline. And the deadline is the deadline. If you don't meet the deadline for the FMP, you fail the year. It's crucial that you show your process and meet the deadline. So changes to elements of your production, changes to your script. So I want to see those changes, make a different version of the script, or show you annotations maybe, or print them off and handwrite and then scan and upload, for example, any iterations. Or you can, using Google Docs or Microsoft Word online, you can actually roll back and see previous versions of your document. If you want me to show you that, I'm more than happy to do that. Schedules, call sheets, sketches, storyboards, any documentation that relates to your FMP. I need to see the changes that have occurred to those throughout the project, because they will change, they will adapt, because circumstances change. I want to keep the copies of all these different versions in your journal as evidence of your work in the production. Your detailed reflective journal entries throughout the production. So what I mean by that is every single time you work on the project, and this is mentioned in the pre-production task as well, every single time you work on the project, it's crucial to me that you update your work, update your site or blog every time you do any work, and make sure it's dated as well so we can see the story, as it were, of you working on the project. That's really important to see how much effort and energy you are applying to the final major project. Your final production must be accessible on your site or blog. Now, I bet at some point I've asked you to make sure that a document has been shared publicly. We need to make sure that you've tested your blog or site for somebody who isn't logged in as you. If you submit your work and it hasn't been shared and made public, then you won't get the grades for it. It's that straightforward. So it's crucial to me when you share any documents or put it onto your site or blog or spreadsheet, PowerPoint, whatever it might be, your sharing settings are always set to public, unless there's private information there, in which case I'm happy to show you a way to do that. But I need everything to be shared publicly. So your final production must be accessible on your site or blog. If you submit a wonderful, beautiful distinction level FMP, yet we can't access it after the deadline, you can't get the grade for it. Been quite fair and reasonable up until now, giving you guys numerous different chances, but making it very clear now. You need to make sure it is accessible. Test it. Your project must be submitted by the deadline. You know that. The submission evidence then, what you need to do for task 4 is as follows. Submit your final production and your journal. Now the journal is not to be sniffed at really. That is as valuable as the project itself. You telling me the story of the project, explaining how you've applied practical skills, your knowledge and your understanding of how to create a creative media project. And relate your work to professional examples constantly. Relate your work to industry examples constantly. Tell me what you've extracted from your research and applied into your project. That's it. That's task 4. So that's it. Like it's no small thing. It's a big thing. So, your project and journal. So I'm looking for task 4. Any questions, as always, please put them in the comments underneath, and I'll be happy to help you with anything, of course, throughout the task 4 part of the FMP as well. Good luck.